Hello, everybody, and welcome to another...
We started our
What? No, that's fine. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another artist series here at TrustVibes Artist Series, which is what this is. It's an artist series about artists.
So I'm gonna...
Yes. Today with us is Barbara Latimer. She is a TV host. That's really all you do. What? More or less, isn't it? TV hosting?
I do a lot of things.
And event hosting.
And we talked about this.
And you're an awesome person.
Well, I was gonna go with all-around badass, but sure, I'll go with awesome person.
And all-around badass.
I do so many things.
You do.
I do voiceovers.
Ah, those.
Babysit my niece.
Voiceover artists.
Yeah.
The gems of the industry. Moving on. So first lightning round question.
Oh, we're doing questions. Okay.
Ninjas versus pirates.
Ninjas.
Who would win?
Ninjas.
Why ninjas?
Because any move that the pirate does, or like any way they try to fight, the ninjas will make their way around it. You try and make a ninja walk the plank, they're gonna be able to somerset around it and be able to hang off the side of the boat or the plank or something. And even if they fall in, they can ninja away from the sharks.
I was gonna say pirates, just because they have
Big sleeves?
they have no morale. Morality.
That's the one, right?
Yeah. They have no morality. They wouldn't care. They're savage.
Well, so are ninjas.
Are they?
They're hella savage.
They have a code.
Yeah, but what code is gonna go against like not killing a pirate?
The one where...
Pirates are assholes anyway.
But that's my point, isn't it?
Well, they can kill an asshole. So then there is no morality against pirates.
Okay. Next lightning round question.
Cool, I won that one.
What is your least favorite word or phrase?
Oh, what's that? When people, they're about to say something bad, and then they're like, I don't mean anything by it, or no offense, but like they're always going to say something mean. So just don't say it. Why bother?
Have you ever been to see a movie alone?
I actually think I haven't.
Never?
Never.
Really?
Like, I'm always like, oh yeah, I could totally see a movie alone. And I think I could, but I just never got around to it.
Aren't you popular?
I'm the resident third wheel of my family and friends. Because I was single for so long.
Did you want to delve into that?
The fifth wheel and then
Why
the
do you
seventh wheel.
think you were single for so long?
No, next question.
Okay. What profession would you be the worst at?
I think I'd be a really bad doctor.
I do too. Why?
A, I was really bad at science.
Okay.
And B, I just cry over everything. I'm a really emotional person. So I was binge watching The Good Doctor.
Now, are you crying because of the emotional ups and downs of the plot or because of the death?
It's just sad sometimes, you know? Like, certain plots are sad. You feel it. My period was coming. You feel it more when you're PMSing. It's a thing.
I feel like we've gotten off track here.
We have. But if I was a doctor, I would be crying in front of all my patients. And that would not serve any positive purpose at all.
Save money on saline solution.
I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
How would you know? You'd be a horrible doctor.
It's not.
All right, now time for the actual interview. The heat of the meat, as I like to call it.
The meat of the heat.
So you've been here in Singapore for a long time in the entertainment industry, doing mostly TV presenting, TV hosting, event hosting. How did you first end up getting on stage?
When we moved here from the UK, I dropped back a year because of we had to pick up Chinese. If not, we weren't allowed into the local schools. And the only school that would take me in after like 4 months of intensive tuition, the only school that would take me in was a really like local old school Chinese school, Fengshan Primary School. I had no friends because no one understood my like Midlands English accent. But I was like always working on my Chinese, and my Chinese teacher thought it would be a great thing for my confidence to go up on stage and have the only half white girl in the school read out a Chinese poem.
And was that great for your confidence?
I was petrified, but I realized that I was actually comfortable and I didn't give a shit. When I was up on stage, I was extremely comfortable. So I was like, okay, cool. So as the years went by, like if schools needed an MC for stuff, for like whatever event, then I'd just be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm happy to. There was none of that like I get nervous before, but there was none of the whole stage fright once you were up there. So it was like, oh, cool, let's see how I can make this into a career. And I did.
What was your first big kind of job that you were like, oh, this is
it.
Putting me on the map?
So my first ever public gig was an EP launch for a local band, Postbox. And I was just absolutely shitting myself. Like, so panicky. But I had a great time. It was thrilling. There was like all that adrenaline. And it went so well. I was like, oh, cool. I'm 17. This is my first public job. Didn't get paid for it. But, you know, it was like a public thing.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Cool. And then it just built up from there.
What was your favorite job?
That's a tough one.
You don't have one that stands out?
Well, because they're all so different in their own way. Because it's not just like you're not only just hosting or you're just doing like presentation. But I think one of the most exhilarating things is when you get to do sports presentation, right? So let's say football match. You're the person who announces the overall, like the voice of God, basically. They don't hear you. Oh, sorry, they don't see you. They do hear you. You're the one who announces all the athletes' names, the scores, whatever, yada, yada, yada. When Singapore hosted the Youth Olympic Games in 2010, that was when we were being trained up as volunteers for the sports presentation team. So we each got to do like a couple of sports. But the most emotional part of it was in your voice, like not even your body language or your facial expression, your voice alone has to carry the weight and the importance of all the like blood, sweat, tears, and effort that these athletes do and do them justice. Like, you can't fuck up their names no matter how difficult.
But you do.
No, you just say it really quickly. There was so much groundwork that went into it because you've got all these countries with names that you just can't pronounce.
Such as?
I just don't even want to go there.
Let's try one.
No.
Which part of the world?
Like, just all the really difficult ones. Let's just
Azerbaijan?
Swedish names or
okay.
All the Oski names or like the Thai names. Like, everything was difficult.
Thai names are very hard.
Vietnamese names. Like, you just don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah.
For them. Like, how shitty is that? It's not even embarrassing for me, but it doesn't do them justice. But that was the most memorable. I digress. That's the most
this
memorable.
Is for what event? Or
this was for the Singapore Youth Olympic Games in 2010.
What was your most embarrassing experience while you were hosting?
So I was presenting for the Premier League, like the English Premier League. Football fans are going to hate me. I think United switched over their manager to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Okay, I mean, I don't know.
Yes. Adam
says yes.
So when United switched over their manager, and keeping in mind when we presented for Premier League highlights, it was all teleprompter work, right? So it was pretty straightforward. I just need, like, my main talent is looking like I know what I'm talking about, right? That's the talent.
That's the main part of the gig.
Yes, because a lot of people, they do teleprompter work and they look like someone's holding a gun to their head. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but like once you get it, you get it. And for the life of me, I just could not get his name right. And we're doing this at like 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'm tired because I like to go to bed at 10 o'clock. But it's just like, it was so embarrassing because the entire crew is tired and they want to go home and wrap as soon as we can. But if I keep fucking it up, then...
Do you have like a trick that you do when you get into that funk and you're just like, we're just not nailing this right now? Is there something that you
take
do?
a break.
Just
Go, shake it off, have some water, and just try and blank everyone else out.
Have you ever worked with somebody that you absolutely despised?
No.
No one? Not even in this town?
It's usually not the directors, the producers, or anyone. It's usually like the first AD or like your floor manager, who is just, especially when you're on a long-term production and you know you break every 5 weeks anyway to prevent everyone from killing each other.
Is there times where you feel like you need to come out and say something but feel pressured not to because of kind of the image,
Yeah.
working environment?
No, 100%. It's this weird balance because when you are the talent for a production, it's almost you're already given that stereotype of being demanding or being a diva and this, that, and the other. That the moment you snap a little bit, they're like, "Wow, she's just filled that stereotype."
Are you at all? In
No,
any way
I'm
that
really
sort of-
fucking nice.
Okay.
Like, I will help wherever I can. Like, I can do my job, and then at the same time, like, if there is anything else I can do to make anyone else's life easier, I will do it. Like, I'm happy to do it. You just have to be more cautious about it. Whereas, like, if your first AD is a dick to you, then everyone's like, well, that's the first AD's job.
It's really not, though.
It's not, but they can get away with it. Because they're not... How do you deal with difficult people on production?
I'm usually talk about them behind their back. That helps me get through it. So, and it also usually...
Do you bitch to the boss? I bet you do.
Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I've been very fortunate, and usually everybody that I'm working with is totally fine. Like,
Adam.
99% of the time, I haven't really had to deal with anybody that's been a problem, except for Alan Wong. Sometimes I've kind of got to be like, because Alan's, I don't know. Do I have to carry him on my shoulders the entire shoot? 2-month journey we're all on. I'm pretty strong, but I don't know if I can do 2 months of Alan Wong on my back. You know what I'm saying? We're leaving this in. Alan, I love you. Alan's my co-host on I Just Got Talent.
Alan, I'm sending you love, buddy. I'm sending you so much love right now. How do you put up with him?
In the event he watches this, he will know that I am joking.
I hope so.
Or not.
You don't actually care, do you?
I don't remember what the question was at this point. Oh,
difficult people
working
on
with difficult
production.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly talking behind their back.
Does it
That's
help?
all. It
I mean,
does.
I've done it, obviously.
Well, you
'Cause, like,
have to.
Generally, other people feel the same as well.
You need to let the rest of the industry know how horrible they are.
Yeah. Sometimes they're not horrible. Not horrible. Don't get me wrong. It's like, it's not that people are horrible. It's just sometimes they are gravely incompetent.
Yes, and I usually do balance it out by saying something positive about them.
Oh, you do the sandwich.
So and so is usually a nice person, but have no idea what they're doing in any way.
Have a drink after work. That's
Like
usually...
it's like drinking after work. That's usually what sparks the shit talking. To be honest.
No, but sometimes it's just good to know that there is someone else on the team who also thinks that they are as incompetent as you do.
Always is.
Yeah.
Unless
It's just how much we can do about it.
unless that person's you. Unless you're the one everybody's talking
Unless
about.
I'm the incompetent one.
Then you usually don't
And
know.
then I feel like shit. Okay, so how... Because I have had situations where I am the newbie on the set and I'm with other talents. And for example, like on this one production, I felt like the cameraman was getting really annoyed with me because I wasn't as experienced in handling the show. And you can just get that feel when people are rolling their eyes at you or like whispering about you. And it makes you feel really insecure.
Yes.
As I'm explaining this, I feel like that's not something you ever care about. Like, even if you faced it, I was going to ask, like, oh, do you ever face that? But then I realized you probably don't give a shit. Or does it affect you? Come on, let's show the vulnerable side.
I drink their tears.
For breakfast. With scrambled eggs.
Oh, do you not like what I did just now? Here. Yes. Oh, it's okay. That's okay. It's gonna be fine. Oh, was that not good enough? It's so good though. It's so good. That's how I deal with it.
Okay. Cool. Maybe I should learn from that then.
Yeah. Speaking of learning, see that segue there? It's
Yeah,
pretty good.
that's a good
Speaking
segue.
of learning, have you ever had a mentor, somebody that's kind of helped you along the way and showed you the ropes, something that you've kind of relied on for advice?
Okay, that comes in two parts, right? I've had unofficial mentors. So like when we were doing sports presentation for the Youth Olympics, like Mark Richmond was our mentor, obviously, because he's like the king of sports presentation. my sister Kelly, like, she's always been in the industry, so I go to her for a lot of advice on, like, a spectrum of things, whether it's, like, how to handle a crowd in a certain situation. Like, I would go to her events so I can see how she handles things and presents things. Anything from that to, like, wardrobe, what looks good on camera and what doesn't. I had a really, really good mentor who was also our director for, like, the kids stuff. He was fantastic. He was absolutely fantastic in terms of guiding me, because that was technically my first job as a performer. I don't like to say actress, it feels weird, but I was a performer, right? I was a human performer, and then I was a puppeteer performer. Then you've had people who have, and I won't name names, who want to be your mentor. Do you ever get, oh yeah, I feel like you're a bit too old for this now, but... Do you, like,
I'm not too old for anything.
Maybe when you were younger.
Go on.
Like, when you are newer in a certain aspect of the industry, you've got people who have been in the industry for a while, and they just want to be like, oh, let me guide you through this.
Right.
And then they're trying so hard to be your mentor, which is hilarious.
True. I mean, in certain lighting, I look quite young. So sometimes...
Oh, we're still on that.
In certain lighting, yeah. No, now that's all I'm going to be able to think about. Like, I'll wake up tomorrow morning thinking about the fact that you just said that.
Are you going to start dyeing your grays?
What grays?
We can zoom in. Just turn your... Yeah?
There's a lot.
And salt and pepper is big right now.
Great on steak. What's your dream passion project that you would do if money was no issue?
This is gonna sound, this is gonna sound really soft. I want to help people. I want to do like non-profit and just do whatever.
What's a selfish one though? For just you.
What was the question again?
Passion project for you. Screw the rest of the world.
I want to make clothes.
What kind of clothes?
For me. Like, so often, right? Because I've got a weird body type. Like, I have a really short body. So sometimes it's really difficult to find clothes, although there's just like a centimeter of difference on clothes that you buy that just don't fit. So, you know, the cut is just weird. The proportion is just weird for me. But it fits the majority, right? So I understand why they do it. But if I knew how to make clothes for myself as a passion, then I'd never have to spend money, like, buying expensive clothes.
So just be your own line of Barbara Latimer clothes for Barbara Latimer.
Exactly.
Last question.
Okay.
What's your advice for the world?
Fucking just communicate.
Okay.
So many issues, down from the smallest of things, like a quarrel with a friend, to, I think, the biggest world issues stem from the lack of communication. If people communicated things correctly, we'd avoid so many misunderstandings. I mean, it brings back to the part where we talked about, like, when you get annoyed with someone on set or whatever, someone in the team. It's generally because they're not communicating properly.
That's incorrect.
I said it's generally.
Other reasons.
It could be a lack of talent.
Real last question.
You liar.
As a fellow TV host, what advice do you have for me in interviewing people for this series?
Bring extra batteries so that we don't have to take a break halfway, so that you have to go to 7-Eleven and buy more.
On that note, hey there, everybody. I can do this. Hey there, everybody. Thanks again for joining us for another TrustVibes Artist Series, and a special thank you to Barbara Latimer, TV host extraordinaire, for joining in on all the fun. Later, guys. Great. Nailed it. At what point was it just the wine talking?
Before we broke to get extra batteries.
Yes, I think so. Cut.